pandemic, with us all being in lockdown, we all, I am sure, have turned to our favourite books. Now, many books have been written over the centuries, but one of my favourite authors is J.R.R. Tolkien, author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. In The Hobbit, the first time Bilbo meets Gollum, they exchange riddles. Bilbo is trapped in a tunnel, where Gollum has his kingdom, and he plays this game with Gollum so that if he wins, Gollum will show him the way out of the tunnel. It is a very dangerous game, though, because Gollum threatens to eat Bilbo if he loses. So Bilbo has to win. Now Gollum tries to ask the most difficult questions he can find. And this is one of the ones that he asks. This thing all things devours. Birds, beasts, trees, flowers. Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal. Slays king, ruins town, and beats high mountain down. Now, does anybody know or think they know what it might be? I think it would make a very good table quiz question. Well, in the end, Bilbo remembers. And of course, the answer is time. Now, time is the most precious commodity we possess. But it moves on relentlessly, and there is no way we can stop it, slow it down, or reverse it. All we can do is measure it, and we can either waste it or use it wisely. At the moment during this pandemic, we are all in lockdown, and we all must follow strict guidelines to help the staff of the NHS, who are heroically doing all they can to help extremely ill people suffering from this horrible virus. So one thing we all have in abundance at this time is time. Now, in the past, time was measured using sun or water, fire and sand. There were sundials, water clocks, candle clocks, and hourglasses. Then, of course, mechanical clocks were created. And today we have atomic clocks that are accurate to within microseconds. Of course, regardless how we measure it, time does go by quickly or slowly, depending on what we are doing. It tends to go quickly if we are enjoying ourselves. But the time we have now is difficult to fill, as without our normal routine of work, school, shopping with friends, meeting relatives and people we care about, and most of all, going to church. Time seems to be eternal each moment. But we measure time not just in minutes and hours, but also in months and years. And sadly, up to now, thousands of people have died in the United Kingdom from the pandemic. But to make us feel more positive, the wonderful Captain Tom has raised millions of pounds for the NHS from a sponsored walk using his walker in the garden. What a wonderful man, an inspiration to us all, and all done before his 100th birthday. But if you look up to the 6th of September, 1752 to see what happened, you will find nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not just nothing interesting or important, but just nothing. And this is because there was no such date in 1752. In fact, there were no dates between the 4th of September to the 14th of September in 1752. In that year, the day after the 3rd of September was the 15th of September. In 1752, 11 days in September were left out. Now this had to be done to correct a mistake in the calendar made in Roman times, which had gradually gone on to be 11 days out. This mistake was put right by this, and by adding leap years every 4 years ever since. But at the time, many people were very angry. There were riots, and people demanded their missing days back. How dare the authorities take those days away? Of course, the people hadn't really lost any time at all. It was just a paper exercise. But it did call into question the whole matter of time. How we tell the time and how we measure the time is very interesting. But it is not as important as how we use our time. We must all strive to use our time wisely, so we never feel that time has passed us by and we have wasted it. If we use it thoughtlessly and are irritable and difficult, it is not a good use. But if we use it thoughtfully, being happy and making the most of life, we will achieve much more. Our time, every Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, is spent very well indeed, when everyone across the United Kingdom leaves their homes to go out on their steps and into the road to clap our wonderful dedicated National Health Service staff, and indeed all other key workers. This is why we have to follow the government guidelines. We have to resolve to do what we can to support the National Health Service, so that at last a light can be seen at the end of the tunnel. Just as Bilbo saw a light to lead him out of Gollum's kingdom, back to the safety of Gandalf.